I also have some questions from Yasu today that I want to answer. So the first one is if you had $1 billion, what would you do with it? And I have like the safe answer, which is like investing, maybe like buying a house. That would be amazing. But that's a little boring. So I feel like if I had no responsibilities and I had $1 billion to just spend, I would definitely go traveling. I love like treating my friends, buying stuff for them. So I would book us all a trip, maybe to like Mexico or Europe or somewhere in Asia, and cover all their flights, all their hotels, so that we could all just like go have a good time. A lot of them are big partiers, I'm not gonna lie. So maybe going to the clubs, trying new food like around the world, that would be amazing. I don't know how long that you could go just traveling the world with your friends on $1 billion, but I feel like that would be our plan for the next year or two. It's just blowing that money on travel and food and that kind of stuff. That would be the dream. But again, not the realistic answer. Because honestly, I do want a house. I do want to invest. I would give some of that money to my parents for helping me through college, all that kind of stuff. But in a perfect world, I would travel. The second question is what was your dream as a kid? Honestly, I had a lot of dreams. I feel like I was a very wishy-washy kid. I had a lot of different interests, and I swear my like dream career and like dream goal in life would change every other week. But one that I do remember sticking with for a lot was wanting to be a veterinarian. So I think that it's very common for kids to love animals, and I didn't really grow up with pets, like cats or dogs or anything like that. So I really wanted to be able to work with animals in the future, and I was like, oh, a veterinarian would be perfect. Again, I didn't know anything about like what it actually involved to be a vet, but yeah, that was what I would tell everyone when they asked me, what do you want to be when you grow up? Just because all I thought it meant was that you hung out with cats and dogs all day. So yeah. Yasu also asked, what are you good at? A very broad question, but I feel like that just gives me more to talk about. I really pride myself on my cooking and baking. Whenever I go home, right now in college, I don't have access to a kitchen, so I don't really cook or bake a lot, but every time I go home, I am always like in the kitchen cooking. I think that it's just such a good, necessary skill. It makes your life so much easier. I love like cooking with my friends or cooking with my family, or like baking something for my neighbors and bringing it to them. I'm moving into a new place next year, and I was already talking with my future roommates. I'm like, guys, once we have all the furniture moved in, can we have a big baking night and go introduce ourselves to our neighbors, give them our number, give them some like cookies or something, just to kind of establish that relationship. I also would say like another skill that is kind of useful in all aspects of my life is I'm a very organized person. I credit my mom for this because I feel like she taught me all my organizational skills, but it's been super helpful in college just because I'm working like 2 jobs right now. I am in a sorority. I have classes. I have social stuff. I'm applying to like future internships and stuff like that. So it's just a lot to balance at once. And I think staying organized, like keeping a calendar, knowing what I want, when I want it, and like when I have things planned has been super helpful in staying efficient and just productive in college for sure. So yeah, 2 different sides of the spectrum, like the cooking and staying organized, but I feel like those are 2 skills that I really enjoy. Another question Yasu had for me was, if you could go back into the past, when would you go and what would you do? And honestly, I haven't thought about this one a lot before. I really like when I live right now. I feel like there's so many good things about the era that we're in, but I think one of my guilty pleasure answers would be I would go back into the 70s and see a David Bowie concert. He is my favorite artist ever, and he died back in 2016 when I was still in middle school. Like I was just entering middle school, so I feel like I didn't really appreciate music. I didn't really know a lot about him, but it was kind of during middle school and high school that I discovered him, and my dad really likes his music too, so that's something that we've talked about before. So I would love to see one of his concerts live, and obviously that's no longer possible because he passed away. But he has this like particular show in London that he did in 1973 that I would have loved to have been there. Like, the energy looked amazing, his performance was incredible, and it was like at the height of kind of his stardom, I would say, but also when one of his albums came out, which is my personal favorite album, so he was performing that one. So I would love to go back into the 70s and see that concert, and see him perform live. So yeah. The next question is, what is an emotionally powerful movie that I've seen, and what was it about? For this one, I would have to say Do the Right Thing. It's directed by Spike Lee. My dad had me watch it when I was younger, and I watched it again for a film class in high school. But it was directed in the 80s, and it kind of explores, it takes place in New York as well, and it explores, it's really hard to explain just like in one video, but it explores like basically racism in the US and the legacy of it. It mostly follows the Black community in New York, which was super like vibrant and, I don't know, interesting during the 80s. But it also has these Italian immigrants who own a pizza shop there. It has some Korean immigrants, I'm pretty sure, who own like a market in the neighborhood, and it's kind of exploring those racial tensions between them, but also like the influence of, I would say, white supremacy and oppressive structures within like our legal system, within our social systems, and how that kind of affects individuals' lives, but also like how it affects communities. It also explores police brutality a lot. It's always a movie that will make me cry. Like, I think it's particularly powerful just because you get so emotionally connected to the characters, and like the filming techniques are super interesting, but overall it's a really good watch. I'd recommend like it for anybody. I've seen it like a few times, and it's still like hard for me to explain without just telling you to go watch the movie. But yeah, that one's a really good one. The next question is, what has been the most fun thing in your life recently? And I feel like we just started spring quarter at the University of Washington, and it's just transitioning from like winter into spring, which is amazing in Seattle. We just had our cherry blossom festival at the university because we have these amazing cherry trees that bloom. There's so many tourists that come down to see it. All the like shops have cherry blossom themed like items or food or something like that. So that was super fun. But I'd say just like the transition to spring in general has been amazing. Everybody gets so much more friendly because of the good weather. Everybody's outside, and people are more talkative in general, which I love. I love being social, so I feel like when the weather reflects that and like helps people do that, I just have like the time of my life, you know? But yeah, it actually last Sunday, my friends and I, we went down to what's like the Montlake Cut. It's the channel in between Lake Union and Lake Washington. It's like a narrow little passage for ships to go through, but a lot of the university students kind of go down there to swim and chill and stuff like that. It wasn't quite warm enough for us to swim, but we sat outside and like we read books and we yelled at the boats passing by, which is always kind of fun to harass them a little bit. So yeah, that has been amazing, just going from rainy winter into sunny spring, and I'm really looking forward to that transition and for like spring and summer to finally be here, because winter in Seattle can definitely get a little boring. The next question is, if I were to travel to New York, what would I do there? I have a friend who's from Boston, actually, which is pretty close to New York, and she's been there a few times. She's told me about some really good restaurants that I have to visit. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I really want to go there. I know they have amazing food. And then I feel like just wander around. I think New York is known for being very eccentric and like having very eccentric people. So I feel like just walking through the streets of New York would be an interesting experience. You know, there are street performers, there's definitely just a lot of characters there. I'd obviously go to Central Park. I heard it's beautiful. And then, yeah, just like admire the architecture. Oh, I would also want to take like a ferry to Manhattan, see the Statue of Liberty. I know it's a very like tourist thing to do, but I mean, I would be a tourist there, so you gotta do it. Plus it's such like an iconic monument. So I'd like to see it once at least. But yeah, my mom actually has been to New York and she's always telling me she's gonna take me. I have yet to see that trip happen, but she loves it so much. She's definitely says that it's very overwhelming because it's just so fast-paced and there's a lot happening at once. But she loves it. She's always recommended for me to go, so yeah. Okay, the next question asked what I am going to do tomorrow, and honestly Tuesday is a pretty chill day for me. I don't have a ton going on and I don't have class till 10 a.m. so hopefully I'll get to sleep in a little bit. And then I go to the class with my friends, so I always look forward to walking there with them. And then I'll come back to the house for lunch, and right after lunch I have my Spanish class. I actually have an exam in that class tomorrow, which I'm a little nervous about, but honestly my Spanish classes are nice because they're super small, so you get a lot of chance to like practice conversation with people. And honestly my professor, he's super chill, so hopefully he won't grade the exam too harshly, but definitely gonna do some studying for that tonight. And then right after Spanish class, I go to the gym. It's kind of annoying because that's like mid-afternoon and that is the busiest time for the gym. Like there's so many students there. So I'm not always the most productive just because, you know, you have to wait for machines and you see people you know and all that. But it's still nice to get that in. And then I'll probably have dinner after that, and then honestly the rest of the day is just going to be studying. Earlier in the week I have a lot more work because I have to do my classes, or I have to do the work for my classes that I had that day, and then I also have classes the next day that I have to like do homework for. But yeah, that's just kind of my day. I'll probably just be studying until I go to sleep, I'm not going to lie. I also have some questions from Yasu that I want to answer today. The first one being, what was my last party like? Like what did I talk about? What did I do? That kind of stuff. And the last party I went to, I think it was like 2 days ago. So it was right before a baseball game. We were all going out to a baseball game together because it was student night. So tickets were like $10, super cheap, super fun. And we invited like a bunch of our friends. So it was people from my house, people from my friend's house, and we all went over to our friend's house probably around 5 because the game starts at 6. Honestly, that's pretty early for like a party. Most of them don't start until like 10 p.m.-ish. And so, yeah, we went over there and we played some games, we caught up. It was probably only like 10-15 of us to start out with, so very chill, very low-key, especially since we were all friends. I wouldn't even call it that much of a party. It was more of like a kickback, I guess. But yeah, we played some games, we caught up. Some of the people that were going, I'm on a soccer team with them, and we played a game earlier that day. We ended up losing, but we were chatting about that a little bit and how like the rest of our season is gonna go. And then we went over to the baseball game, and that was really fun. Oh my gosh, that was my only second ever baseball game, but my friends got hot dogs and all that, and the atmosphere was super like fun, super high energy. And then we all came back at different times because not everybody stayed the entire game, so we probably didn't see each other all again until like 9 or 10. And because it was later in the day, people were done with work, so there was probably like 35 of us for like the after party, which was really fun. And we played more games. We kind of just like broke into groups and chatted. And oh my god, one of my friends, he made a tres leches cake, which was so good. So all of us split that, especially being like we were all so hungry after the game. But yeah, that was fun. Honestly, I stayed there later than I should have because I'd worked the next morning. We stayed up until probably like 2 or 3 a.m. But honestly, like when you go to a party with all your friends, it's so easy to just get caught up chatting with all of them for so long. But yeah, that was really fun. The next question that Yasu has for me is, what does my dad do? So My dad, he works in affordable housing. He's the director of development for the Seattle Housing Authority, and he basically builds and helps plan the development of low income or affordable housing for low income families, which I've always thought was super cool. I think he's really passionate about his job, which I enjoy. He's always telling me about it. And I think I've learned so much about just like urban development and planning through him. He's always talking about like the green spaces that he wants to build and like how they're working to make stuff more environmentally friendly, things like that, which has been super cool. I've also met some amazing people through his work, just because sometimes he'll bring me to events and I'll meet people in the community that he serves or people he works with, and they're all super interesting. So yeah. The next question is if I studied a lot in high school, and honestly it was all over the place. By my senior year, I definitely did not study as much as I should have, just because after senior year, a lot of my friends were going to colleges like across the country or, you know, moving away from home. So I was really trying to prioritize having that social time. It was also my last year on my soccer team, so I was spending a lot of time with them. But yeah, I'd say there's a lot of independent work in high school, much more so in college, but yeah, it's really like however committed you are to classes, it reflects in your grades. So yeah, I don't think that there's as much studying in high school as there is in Japan, but I think there's a lot more studying in like college and stuff, just because 90% of the work that you do in college is independent outside of your classes and lectures. So yeah, I'm definitely devoting a lot more time now to studying than I did in high school. Yasu also asked what I did in middle school when I'd hang out with my friends. And honestly, middle school was a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. But I'd say we went to the parks a lot. There were a lot in our neighborhood, so we could kind of meet up and go there. I had this big baking phase in middle school. I loved baking and cooking and stuff like that. So my friends would get together and like we would bake cupcakes or something fun to decorate, and that was definitely a good memory. We watched a lot of movies together. There was this theater by my house that every Tuesday they would sell $6 movie tickets, which was super affordable for us. And so we would go over there and watch whatever movie came out, or we'd go to someone's house and watch that together. But yeah, just kind of whatever the weather allowed, if we could be outside or not, and really whatever we were feeling. Sometimes I would just go over to my friend's house and like without a plan, and we would play board games or like walk their dog or I don't know, just hang out. So yeah, really all over the place in middle school. The next question is, how do I spend my time at home? And I live at college right now, but every time I do go home, I try to spend my time with my family as much as I can, or my friends from high school if they're back from college. I went home for spring break probably about a month ago, and that was super fun. I spent a lot of time like cooking for myself, because at college I don't always have time to cook for myself. But obviously on break I don't have homework and I don't work, so that was definitely nice to have like some time to just self-care, that kind of stuff. I tried to hang out with my mom a little bit. We went to like a local park. We went on some hikes, and yeah, kind of all over the place. I like to work out when I go home if I can. We have a treadmill at my house, and my mom has gotten into that recently, so we've been doing some workouts together, which has been fun. And then yeah, when my friends happen to be home from college, we'll hang out too. There's this beach kind of near our house that we always go to, or we'll go thrifting. That's a big one. I love going thrifting with my friends because there's some great thrift stores in Seattle. So yeah, just kind of whatever we're up to. And Yasu also asked, is there something good that's happened recently? And yeah, for sure. I feel like just with the weather improving, people have been in better moods. So it's like a lot of good things have been happening. You know, life has been super fast paced, but that's fun. Something that has really stood out is last quarter. So throughout all of winter, one of my really good friends was studying abroad in Spain. And we would write letters to each other. We would FaceTime, and I'm so jealous. It sounds like she had an amazing time, but she came back for spring quarter and we're living together right now. So it's just been really great to have her back. She's like a very adventurous person, and we just like spending time with her has been really refreshing. So yeah, I'm just really happy to have her back, and that's been a big bonus of spring quarter so far. The next question is there anything I really want to try this year? And this is kind of crazy, but I have these tickets for indoor skydiving. So it's like this big wind tunnel, and it shoots wind up from the bottom, and you like put on this suit, and then you can basically go skydiving inside, which I think is insane. I'm like, how is there a business for this? But it looks super cool, and I have the tickets. I just have yet to actually go because it's kind of far away, and I have to take the bus. But that I really want to try. I don't have like a fear of heights or anything, but I still think it's kind of scary to like go skydiving randomly. So I think I just have to get over that and go for it. I don't know. I mean, like I already bought the tickets, so half the battle is gone. But yeah, that's definitely something I want to do. The next question is, what do I spend money on the most right now? And honestly, I'm super grateful. My parents are covering my rent this quarter and my tuitions, and I have like scholarships, so I don't really have to worry about that. But I am working 3 jobs, so I have some spending money. Most of my money does go towards saving, just because I'm planning on graduating next year, and I want to be able to travel a little bit. I want to get my own apartment, and then eventually go to law school, which is going to be expensive. So yeah, most of my money does go towards my savings. But when it doesn't, I do like to go out to eat with my friends. I feel like food is such like a good communal experience. So I'll spend money at restaurants, I'll spend money on groceries, that kind of stuff. And then besides that, I love live music so much. And Seattle is such a great place for it. I think that we have such like a diverse set of music genres, and we have a lot of music venues for artists to perform at. So we have like really big ones, we have really small, intimate ones. Honestly, like big diversity of music here. So you can go to like $10 shows, you can go to like $100 shows, whatever, and some really big artists come through here, which is really fun. So I definitely spent some money on music tickets. I went to a house show last week that was really fun, with just like some bands performing. And then this next week I'm going to a concert at kind of near our stadium in Seattle, and it's Empire of the Sun, I think, which will be super fun. A bunch of my roommates are going with me. And then at the end of the week, next week, so the Empire of the Sun concert is on Wednesday, and then I have a rave on Saturday that I'm super excited for. I don't go to raves that often, but one of my friends, he's super into it, and he took me to my first rave last year, and honestly they're super fun. They're kind of intense, but like the people there are amazing, and like the music is really interesting, and I think if you go to like a good venue, then it can be really fun. One of my roommates, she's also going to the rave, and she goes to raves a lot, so she definitely knows her way around. She was giving me all these tips. So yeah, I'd say food, concerts, and entertainment are what I spend my most money on. Yasu also asked me how I deal with stress when I get stressed out. And I think it really depends on my mood. Last quarter, it was winter quarter, so it was super rainy, super cold. I couldn't go outside a lot. And I think being trapped indoors with like homework and work and all that kind of stuff, I definitely got stressed. And I think taking time for myself and just slowing down was huge for me. I would like put in my headphones, listen to music, maybe go like watch a movie or something, just to kind of like escape from whatever was stressing me out, and like take some time to recenter my thoughts and reorganize myself. Right now, I like to take long walks. I always take them like after dinner and stuff like that, but if I'm feeling especially stressed, I'll just like put in my headphones and I'll walk around the city. Maybe I'll take the bus somewhere and like try to find something new. I also, because we live right by the water, I like to go down to like Lake Union or Lake Washington and just kind of like sit in the sun if I can. Maybe I'll go swimming if it's warm enough, although it rarely has been. And yeah, I think that just having spaces to slow down and like recenter yourself and your thoughts has been super important to me and super instrumental in kind of relieving my stress, because I think as a college student with like very competitive academics, managing jobs, managing your social life, thinking about your career, it's very easy to get overwhelmed and stressed out. But having those tools available to me and knowing what works for me is like super important. The next question is about what I did yesterday, and this is going to be kind of boring, but I worked most of the day. So the baseball game that I was talking about happened on Friday, and then yesterday was Saturday. So I had a shift starting at 9 a.m. and I work at like this boat rental place. So I honestly don't mind my shifts in the spring because I get to spend all day on the water. And I like all my coworkers. They're all like college age students. So I started my day there and I worked from 9 to 2. And then from 2 to 7:30, I worked at my other job, which is the gear garage. So it's also a on-campus job, and I just like rent out like technical gear, I guess is the right name for it, but it's like outdoor stuff. So camping supplies, backpacking supplies, we sell yard games, mountaineering stuff, and we rent those out to UW staff and student. So I just kind of worked there. Honestly, both of my shifts were very like low-key, very chill. We didn't have a lot of customers, so I mostly just talked with my coworkers. I studied a little bit, I did some homework, and then I got home, took a shower just because I've been like outside all day, and then I went over to my friend's house and studied for the rest of the day. I have like 2 big midterms coming up next week and then another midterm the week after, so I've been studying for those, like reviewing all my notes. So yeah, and then just went home, had an early bedtime. I was really tired from just like all the weekend activities, so yeah. And the last question is, what am I going to do tomorrow? My Mondays are kind of long, I'm not gonna lie. So I have work starting at 7 a.m. So I get up at 6 for that so I can leave by 6:30. And that's a super short shift. It's just 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. so 2 hours. But after that, I think I'm gonna go out to breakfast just because I have a little bit of time before my class. And then I think, about midday, my sorority is starting their philanthropy week. So it's just a week full of fundraising activities that members of the Greek community participate in. And we raise money for the Children's Hospital here in Seattle. So our first day of events is starting tomorrow. But yeah, I'm participating in those, and then I have class right after. And that's one of my classes that I have a midterm for that week, so definitely gotta go, definitely gotta pay attention to the lecture because we're reviewing for that test. And yeah, then I come home, I'll have dinner, and we have chapter right after, which is what our sorority calls like our weekly meeting. We just talk about like what's happening for the week, our goals as like a community, that kind of stuff. And that's just like an hour every week that we take to do that as a house. And then yeah, I will probably on the UW campus we have this area called the like maker space, and it's in one of the residential halls, and it's open to all students to come, and it has like sewing supplies, it has art supplies, that kind of stuff, just for like you to have an outlet for creativity. So I'll probably go after chapter, go there, because I have a like dance or a formal thing coming up that I need a dress for, and I have a dress, but I need to like alter it to fit me better. So I'll just go there and use their sewing machines, and then I'll probably just call it a day, maybe do some studying before bed, but we'll have to see what time it is because I'm always really tired after my days where I have early shifts. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, and then I also have some questions from Yasu that I want to answer. The first one is just, what did I do yesterday? Honestly, yesterday was pretty busy, I'm not gonna lie. It was a Friday, so it was really warm out. On Fridays, I only have one class, which is super nice. So I woke up, went to the gym, then went to class right after. And then that's over around lunchtime, so I had lunch, and it was super nice out, like I said. So I went down to, there are some docks kind of on campus, like near where I work. So I went down there with some friends, and kind of had like a picnic lunch there, which was really fun. We went swimming a little bit, but the water was really cold. And yeah, so, and then where I work, we like rent paddle boards and boats and stuff like that. So I took a paddleboard out on the lake, which was super fun. It was I think it was only the second time I've been paddleboarding, so it was definitely a new experience. And it was kind of windy. Like, it was still warm out, so I didn't really mind, but it was windy and it's really hard to paddle against the wind, I discovered. So I didn't get that far, but it was really nice to like just be able to go out on the lake, especially since, what was it? Especially since there was like a crew race going on. It's called like a regatta. So the boats were preparing to like race and all that, and all like the yachts for watching were out lined up all along the lake, and it was super pretty, super fun. So I paddled up to some of the yachts and like I chatted with them. And everybody was super friendly. So yeah, that was fun. And then at night, it was, so my school is like honestly a pretty big football school, which is surprising because it's also super academic and usually it's like one or the other. But our football season is in the fall, but every spring we have what we call like a spring game. It's called Dogs After Dark. And it's basically a scrimmage with our own team. So we're not playing a rival school. We're just playing our own team, which is kind of fun. But it's mostly like a chance for the players that don't start on the field to like get some playing time, and also for them to just host a game during the spring so that we can like remember that we love football, all that. I'm not a big football person, but tickets were free, so I decided to go. And so I went over with some of my friends. Like, we went to their house, picked them up, and then we all walked down to the stadium together. I honestly didn't stay for that long, but they had like a corgi dog race at halftime that was really fun to watch. I think I got more hype for that than the actual football. But yeah, that was super fun. And then we just finished with like, it was kind of like an after party. I didn't stay for that long because I had a bunch of homework to do, but it was like bar themed. I actually bartended for a little bit, which was fun. I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, we just did that. I went home, finished up my homework, and got like pretty early bedtime, which was nice. Next question is, what am I going to do tomorrow? Honestly, I don't have that many plans. Sundays are like my slow days just because it's kind of like when I take the chance to do all my homework for the week and like do my laundry, kind of run all the errands that I need to be prepared for the rest of the week. So probably going to go to the grocery store. It is my sister's birthday tomorrow. I'm really excited. She's turning 24. Oh my God, that took me a second. But yeah, I'm gonna call her, wish her a happy birthday. She's in California right now, so I'm kind of sad I don't get to celebrate with her, but I'll make sure to call her. We'll probably do like a family group call. And yeah, just wish her a happy birthday. And then I have work from like 1 to 5, I'm pretty sure. Like a super short shift. I picked it up as like a favor to my coworker. So I'm gonna go do that, come home, and hopefully get an early night in. But we'll see. It depends on how much homework I have, honestly. I have a midterm this week, so I really need to study for that, look over all my notes, and like create a study guide. So we'll see how that goes. I think I understand everything pretty well, but I guess we'll see day of. The next question is, what did I do last Christmas? It's kind of a while ago, so I'm trying to remember. My family doesn't really celebrate Christmas. So my dad grew up Catholic, but my mom didn't. And I feel like we kind of celebrated growing up, but we more celebrated winter solstice, which is around the same time, but like different traditions. We like rarely got a Christmas tree, so it was never like a big deal in my family. And especially like this past year, my sister was like still in California. My dad might have been on a trip. I don't really remember, but it's not like, it wasn't like a huge deal. But what I did do was, so last year I made friends with some international students. They were from the Netherlands, and they decided to stay for they were only here for 1 quarter, so they were just here for the fall season, but they decided to stay for winter break, so until the new year. And I went over to like the place they were staying at because they were hosting a little thing, because obviously they couldn't be home for their family, so they hosted like a little Christmas dinner. I think that was Christmas Eve, and that was super fun. I stayed there for like the night, and we all just like chatted. We played games. It was like potluck style, so we all brought our own meals. I think I brought like pasta and some kind of dessert. I don't remember. It was a little unconventional, but it was super fun because they have such high energy, and they're always down for a party. They're always I don't know. I miss them now. They're back in the Netherlands. But yeah, that was a fun Christmas, just because I like got to spend it with friends and stuff, and they were happy to like have people to spend it with since they couldn't be with their families. And then Yasu also asked, what did I do for New Year's Day this year? So last winter break, right after Christmas, I drove down with my mom to California. My mom was staying with friends in California, but I stayed with my sister. She lives in the Berkeley area, which is like the Bay Area. And I was with her for, I think, 4 days, including New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, which was super fun because I don't think I've ever spent New Year's away from Seattle, I think. I don't really remember, but it was super fun to like experience it in California, and just be with my sister, because like I love her so much, and it was really nice to just like see her and explore the city with her. She's only been there for 1 year. She's lived in California for a while, but she just moved to Berkeley, so it was all kind of new for her too. I think New Year's Eve we went on a hike, and then we went down to San Francisco. So you take a train from Berkeley to San Francisco, and we explored the city there. We saw like all the sea lions on the piers. We did all the touristy stuff. And then we ended up going back to her place, and I think that we were gonna go out, and like some of her roommates were like going to the bars or something, but we were kind of tired, so like just because we had such a busy day, so we decided to stay in. And I just remember she lives on this building, and it has like a rooftop view, and so we climbed up to the roof, and we saw all the fireworks like across the bay, like they were all over the ocean, and it was so pretty. Like it was over the Bay Bridge, which is the big bridge between like Berkeley and San Francisco, and we just saw them from her rooftops. We saw the sunset. They set all the fireworks off at midnight, like right when the New Year's was. So yeah, it was definitely a very special memory. I really liked my last winter break. That was there was a lot to do. And I love being able to go down to the Bay Area. It's one of my favorite places to visit. So yeah, that was super special. And then Yasu also asked, what is some recent news I'm interested in and why? And honestly, there is a lot going on right now, just with the transition between presidential administrations in the US, like the transition over to Trump, because we just elected him. And so there's a lot of, especially government jobs and government programs, the EPA, education, public health, that kind of stuff. It's all been really up in the air. A lot of like the funding and budgeting has been getting cut. So I've definitely been keeping up with that. My mom works in public health. She does like research, cancer research. So she's in academia. And a lot of her friends have had coworkers, they themselves, or like their programs have been cut, or like they've been laid off or something like that. So I've definitely been keeping up with that. Honestly, it's just like it's like hard for me to like talk about a lot, but there's just like a lot happening at once and a lot of uncertainty right now. So I've been trying my best to kind of keep up with all of it, keep up with like the administration changes, but yeah, there's definitely a lot to keep your eye on right now. Something super recent that just happened that I was talking to my mom about, actually. There was an occupation on UW of one of the electrical engineering buildings. So UW has a lot of partnerships with Boeing, which has a lot of ties to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. So there was an occupation of the electrical engineering building, I'm pretty sure, or one of the engineering buildings, by a group of students protesting the Palestinian occupation. And I think a few of them like ended up vandalizing property, but they were forcefully removed by UW PD, and then UW like sent out this whole statement about how like they don't condone these actions, etc., etc. Honestly, that was super discouraging to hear that like my school is kind of supporting that stuff, just because like I'm fully in support of the students. Like I know some of them like were labeled as violent, but honestly from following it, a lot of them were peaceful bystanders. A lot of them like are now facing student misconduct violations for like a majority peaceful protest. And yeah, I feel like every time like students are trying to stand up against our partnerships with Boeing, it gets like so messy, and UW handles it terribly, and it feels very discouraging to be a part of all that. But yeah, that just happened last night, so that's some very recent news that I've been following. I also have some questions from Yasu that I want to answer. The first being, what made you want to play soccer, and who is your favorite soccer player? I kind of didn't make like the choice to start soccer. My parents started me in kindergarten, so when I was very young, I think they just like wanted me to play a sport. And I picked up some other sports throughout the years. So I tried ultimate frisbee for a little bit. I tried lacrosse for a little bit, which was fun. But I think what made me stick with soccer, because I played it for almost 13 years and I'm like continuing to play it informally through intramurals, is that I really liked the team aspect of it. Like I stuck to it so long, I got good at it, and like I'd stuck with my team for so long that like we really understood each other, and it felt like a very collaborative, very clever sport. Like you really have to think about it a lot. There's a lot of strategy, and I think because like I knew it so well, it became more complicated than like any other sport to me, and that's kind of like what I liked. It was like a mental and physical challenge. And then also I think it just brought me a lot of community. Like I have so many memories of like the friends I made in soccer. Like there's this one group, we had a carpool since we all lived in the same areas. So because we had practice like multiple times a week, and then like games or like tournaments on the weekends, and like we were too young to drive. Our parents obviously did not want to drive us, so we would all like get picked up, and we were in a carpool together, and like because of that we became super close, and we'd have sleepovers at each other's houses. We would do like little birthday celebrations with each other, that kind of stuff. So that was always a super fun memory. I remember, oh my god, I have this like one distinct memory. When I did start driving, I like picked up all the carpool, we drove to the soccer field, and then after soccer I came out and someone had hit my car, like knocked the bumper off, and I was freaking out because like I'd never been in a car crash. I was new to driving, it was my parents' car. I was like, what's gonna happen? I mean, thankfully the dude like stuck around and I got his insurance info, but I just remember them all taking their like athletic tape, like that you usually use to like tape injuries and stuff, and they taped the bumper back on my car so that I could drive home with it. It looked like absolutely hilarious just driving down the road with like all this athletic tape on my bumper. But yeah, that was like one of the fun memories, because like even though we didn't go to the same schools, it's like the soccer connected us, which was really nice. And then I'd say my favorite soccer player is this kind of a basic answer, but because I grew up in Seattle, there's this really cool women's team here called Rain FC, and they are one of like their star players is Megan Rapinoe. She also plays for the U.S. women's national team, which has won the like Women's World Cup multiple years in a row. I think they've won it like almost 5 times now, so they're amazing. She's an awesome player, and I really like her because I like grew up watching her play. Like I've gotten her signature a few times, not to brag, but it's just been super fun because I've been able to do that. And she is also like really big with social activism. She's always like stood up to causes that matter to her, even if it could have like potentially endangered her career, and she's received a lot of backlash because of it, but I really respect that she always sticks with it. So I'd say she's probably like my favorite soccer player. Okay, and then the next question that Yasu asked is, what is the weather like today? It's actually really nice out. It's like, I mean, you can see like I'm in a t-shirt, which a rarity in Seattle, but I'm hoping that like spring finally comes, because in Seattle there's always like spring always teases you. Like there's some warm days, but then it'll go back to rainy. which is kind of unfortunate. Last week we had like our sorority formal, which is it's like a dance, like a school dance, but except it's with your sorority, and you can like bring dates, that kind of stuff, and it's super fun. But we had like a semi-outdoor venue. It was like open air, and it was just pouring rain and windy, and it was unfortunate. We like Ubered to the venue, but it was like on the beach, and we really wanted like take photos on the beach to like chill out on the sand, that kind of stuff, but it was just like too cold and too rainy. Even though it's, what is it now? It's like almost end of May, so it should be warm by now, and it's warm right now, but yeah. There's like this ongoing joke that you can just like never trust the weather app in Seattle, because in the morning it'll go from like hailing, and then it'll be drizzly, and then it'll be like sunny and hot, and then suddenly a thunderstorm, you know? You just never know. But yeah, thankfully it is warm right now. Okay, and then Yasu also asked if I pay attention to what I eat, and if so, like, how do I do that? So I am pescatarian. I grew up eating meat, but I've never eaten beef, just for cultural reasons. My mom is Indian and she's Hindu, and in Hindu culture you don't really eat beef or cows or anything like that. So I grew up never eating that, and then I think around 7th or 8th grade I wanted to become fully pescatarian, and I've done so ever since. It's a little complicated living in a sorority, because how it works is your meals are made for you, so you don't really have a choice. But they're honestly pretty good at including vegetarian options, so I just have to like look out for that. Thankfully, I don't have any allergies, which is nice. A lot of my roommates have like dairy or nut allergies or something like that, so I never have to worry about that, which I'm very grateful for. But yeah, besides that, I think like being like pescatarian or vegetarian or whatever is a little complicated, just because I've become very, like, since I've started going to the gym and stuff, I've become very aware of like protein and just like what nutrients you should be taking in and that kind of stuff. I think also growing up, like playing soccer and being athletic is like, I was always aware of that, and it's harder to incorporate protein especially into your diet when you don't eat meat. So I think I like try my best, you know, I like eat a lot of Greek yogurt, that kind of stuff. But it's definitely a little harder. But yeah, I mean, like what I've been doing has been working for me, and most important thing is feeling healthy. So yeah. Okay, and then Yasu also asked, what cosmetics do I use? I wish I had like a better answer for this, because I am not like very experienced when it comes to makeup. I honestly, like, half the stuff I use is my sister's from middle school, so like 5+ years ago. It's definitely expired, but I just use it because I still have it. I think I have it here. Yeah, it's like the Burt's Bees Fig lip shimmer, and I really like it just because it's like it feels really nice on my lips, it hydrates it, and like I think it has a really pretty color. I actually just started wearing concealer because I took out my eyebrow piercing. I don't know if you can see that, but I had to buy concealer because it has like a scar right now. My piercer, he said that it would fade in a little bit, but until then, I like to cover it. And then yeah, mostly just like mascara, some like eyeshadow. I feel like my makeup kind of stays the same every day. I don't change it too much, but sometimes I'll do, when I was in high school, I would wear like bright blue makeup a lot of the time, which maybe I'll bring that back because honestly it's kind of fun. But yeah, nothing crazy, just my eyes, the concealer, and then my lips. Yasu also asked if I'm like taking care of my beauty, that kind of stuff. And honestly, like with my friends, my like routine, my like skincare routine and stuff is kind of a joke. I use like 2-in-1 shampoo for my hair, which is it's like conditioner and shampoo built into one. But honestly, like it really works. Like my hair isn't that damaged, I don't think. And even though I do use a lot of heat on it. And then for my skin, I use like, I'm not gonna lie, I use hand soap and like stuff like that at night. But I mean, honestly, like my routine is just I like wash my face in the morning and at night to like get my makeup off, and then I use moisturizer, and in the mornings I'll try to use sunscreen if I remember. I mean, honestly, like it doesn't get that sunny here, so it doesn't matter that much, and like I don't burn, I just like I tan, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I definitely try to use that on my face just because I know like it'll help with like aging, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, honestly, that's all I do. I have tried to get into more complicated stuff, but I think I'm a little too lazy for that, and what I'm doing has worked for me. So yeah. And then Yasu also asked, when I go to thrift stores, what do I buy? And honestly, it's all over the place. I'm mostly looking for clothes when I go, just because I don't have a lot of storage space right now where I'm living, so clothes are the easiest to kind of cycle through. But actually next year I am moving into a new house and it's unfurnished, so I've started looking for just kind of staples. I'm not looking for big pieces of furniture yet, but definitely cutting boards, plates, cups, that kind of stuff. I just thrifted a set of these mugs. I have 4 of them that are super cute and useful. So I'm excited for that. But I don't move until September, and it's May right now, so I definitely have a little bit of time to look. The thrift stores here, they honestly have everything. I think this top is thrifted. They have a lot of jewelry, which is nice because I obviously wear a lot of jewelry. They have accessories. A big thing that I use thrift stores for is if I have a specific event where I need to dress a certain way, but I don't think I'm going to use those clothes again, I will go and look for them at the thrift store, because usually they'll have them and it's cheaper, it's less wasteful, and I don't feel bad about buying something to only wear it once or twice. So Halloween, for example, my Halloween costumes, I'm obviously not gonna wear every day, so I don't want to buy them new. But yeah. Okay, and then the next question is, what is my favorite band? I have a lot. If you could see my room, it has band posters everywhere, but my favorite genre is probably 70s rock. That's kind of what I grew up listening to. When I first got into music, that was what I was really into and what I listened to the most. So bands like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, T-Rex, The Clash, that kind of stuff I would listen to a lot. I'd say of those 3, right now, I really like T-Rex, just because they have a lot mellower, smoother sound, and I've been doing some research into their past. It was actually really sad. Their lead guitarist, Mark Bolan, he died in a car crash, I believe, with his and his girlfriend was in the car. She survived, but he didn't, and that kind of led to the end of the band. But they have this super cool sound, in my opinion. It's very it's very reminiscent of that time and very representative of it. Looking for the right words, but they were based in the UK, and then kind of as they grew, they wanted to move to an American audience, but it was a little harder back then. I recently got into a lot of more house and EDM music. I just went to a rave actually for Cranked At. He's this artist that came to Seattle, but my friends are super into raving and super into EDM. It's not really something that I would just listen to on my own, but in a concert setting, I think it's super fun and super high energy. And we went to one of the venues in Seattle, and it had insane lasers and pyrotechnics and a digital screen behind him, so that was super cool. And then Yasu also asked if there was a Seattle specialty or something Seattle is known for. I'd say food-wise, we are known for our fish that we have here. If you go to Pike Place Market, the fishmongers are super famous because they'll throw giant things of salmon to each other. Salmon is definitely a big one, just because a lot of the indigenous communities here, a lot of their tribal practices revolve around fishing, and specifically salmon, which are currently endangered, certain species, so they're fishing and that kind of stuff is very heavily monitored, and their conservation is a very high priority, not only for the species themselves, but also for their historical and cultural significance in kind of the Pacific Northwest. And then another thing that we're known for that I actually didn't know about till this year, even though I grew up in Seattle, is something called the Seattle dog. I think it's just a loaded hot dog. Again, I don't eat meat, so I don't know what it tastes like, but you'll see vendors just selling it on the streets, especially outside of sporting events or concerts, or even just in busy areas like Capitol Hill or U District. And so they'll have like their big stands, and they'll have the like hot dogs, and you can put like stuff on them, like chili, sour cream, onions, relish, all that kind of stuff. So it's like a loaded hot dog, which honestly looks really good. But yeah, my roommate loves hot dogs, so I'm sure she would be able to tell you more. She would be so disappointed in my explanation of them. But yeah, I think that's something that we're definitely known for. Okay, and then Yasu also asked what Japanese animes I watched growing up. And I don't know if this counts, but like a big part of my childhood was like the Studio Ghibli movies. I think like when I was little, my favorite was Ponyo, just because it's very cutesy. And yeah, but like I think I've watched almost all of them by now. Like Miyazaki has so many, but I've like my roommate and I especially, like we went on a whole like movie watching marathon last year, and we watched every single one of them. I think Ponyo will always hold a special place in my heart. But for like a long time running, I think Howl's Moving Castle has just been my favorite. I actually have a Howl's Moving Castle sticker like on my laptop, and I get compliments on it all the time, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I love those movies so much. They're so nostalgic, and like a lot of them I think have like just such a good message. And yeah, I don't know. I usually don't like shows in a different language that are dubbed, but I think that I've always watched the Ghibli movies dubbed, and I think that the way they do it is really good. So yeah, I love those movies a lot. Okay, and then Yasu also asked me what I did yesterday. So yesterday was honestly, it was very busy. So this past week, so starting on Tuesday, it's Friday now, and starting on Tuesday, I flew out to Berkeley to see my sister graduate, actually. She just got her master's in engineering, which is super exciting. She's an environmental engineer. So I flew down to her school, UC Berkeley, to see her commencement on all that, which was super fun, but very hectic just because it was in the middle of the week, and like I still had school going on, so I was like tuning into my lectures while I was like going to her reception and that kind of stuff. But yeah, so yesterday I flew home from that, and I spent like the morning with my sister, and then I flew in, probably got home like into the airport around 5, got home around 6, and then like I ate dinner super quick, and we had a like sorority initiation for our spring class, which probably took about like an hour and a half. It was from 7 to 8:30, and then yeah, I was just like so exhausted from flying that I got home, I unpacked, showered, and then like I did as much homework as I could, and then I had to crash because I was like, I need sleep. But yeah, super busy day, but honestly super fun. It was really good to see my sister. I say that she's my soulmate. I love her so much. But yeah. Okay, and then the last question that Yasu had for me was, what am I going to do tomorrow? Tomorrow is the weekend, finally. I need a break from school, actually. But it's also our sisterhood retreat. So every spring quarter, my sorority does a retreat where we all the members are invited to go to a camp, and we just kind of like play games, we bond with each other, we like reestablish our sisterhood, and yeah, it's kind of like just a nice getaway to like reconnect with everybody, and like, I don't know, really just bond. So we're leaving for that. This year it's at like a beach camp kind of north of Seattle, which I'm super excited to go to. I've never been before, but we stay in cabins, it's overnight, and yeah, we all like eat together, we play games. I think that we'll like do some photos for our Instagram or whatever, and hopefully spend some time on the beach. The weather looks good, so hopefully it stays that way. Again, you can never trust the weather up in Seattle. But yeah, I think we leave for that on buses like early afternoon. So tomorrow I'm gonna pack for that really quick, and then I told my friend that I'd meet him to walk around Green Lake, which is this like big lake kind of in the middle of Seattle, or in the middle of North Seattle, that I can just walk to from my house, and it's like a 3-mile little loop around the lake. So that'll be super fun. It'll be good to catch up with him, and yeah, I think that's all I have planned for tomorrow. The sisterhood retreat honestly goes pretty late. Like we're up until 11 doing activities, and then you're like free to do whatever after that. So that'll definitely keep me pretty busy. But I'm really excited for that, and yeah. Okay, and then I also have some questions from Yasu that I wanted to answer today. So the first being, what did I do yesterday? Not gonna lie, yesterday was pretty busy. So over the weekend, I went to North Cascades National Park with my roommate and then my parents. And what we did was we backpacked for like 2 miles. So we packed everything we needed into our packs and then climbed down a mountain to get to Ross Lake, which is this 22-mile lake that stretches from like Washington into Canada. It's giant. And so we backpacked down, and then my parents stayed in these cabins that are like floating on the lake. They're super cool. They're on top of these like log structures, so they float out in the lake, and they're so gorgeous. And then my friend and I, we took like a small little motorboat, almost like a dinghy, and we went to like this island on the lake, because again, this lake is huge, and we camped on the island. It was super fun. Like, we stayed in a tent, we made like a campfire and all that, and it was super cool because like we could just take the boat and visit my parents anytime, like if we needed supplies or whatever. So that was super fun. The weather was like a little, it was rainy and it was like a little cold, and because we're like up in that mountains, the water was super cold, but we still ended up swimming because we figured like, oh, we're out here, we might as well take advantage of this. So that was amazing. And so yesterday I came back from that. So I came back around like 4, I want to say, and we had to unpack all of our stuff. And then yeah, I went grocery shopping for the week because yesterday was a Sunday, and that's when I mostly like do my grocery shopping and my meal prep for the rest of the week when I have work. And so I did that, and then we had a movie night. We watched Doctor Strange because my roommate and I, we really wanted to watch like a Marvel movie because we grew up really loving them. So we watched Doctor Strange in like the formal room of our house, and everybody like came down and we put it on a projector, and that was super sweet. And then I was just like tired from the trip, so I had to turn in early, but that was super fun. And one of our other friends, she came back home because she was visiting her family who lives in Florida, and she baked us these cookies and like brought them all the way from Florida, and they were so good. They were like, I forget what she told me was in them, but it was like miso, brown sugar, sesame cookies. Like, she's like a very experimental baker, but they were honestly really good. And like there were so many flavors in them. It was awesome. So we had those while watching the movie, which was really fun. And then the next question Yasu had was, what did I do last summer break? So last summer was my first summer, like college summer, because I was a freshman last year. So I decided to go home, which again is not that far from campus, but I decided just to live at home because I'd lived on campus my entire, like the entire school year, and I was just like getting a little homesick. So I went home. I spent most of the summer working. My sister, she graduated from Cal Poly down in California, so we went and visited her, and then ended up staying in Yosemite National Park for a few weeks after that, just to like explore California, because my parents grew up there, but I hadn't like explored that much, so they wanted to take me there. They wanted to take me through like the Sierra Nevadas, that kind of stuff. So we did a whole fun road trip. But honestly, I think that was my biggest trip of the summer. I didn't really do anything besides that, but then when I was working, I would come to campus, which was really fun because then I could still see all of my college friends who stayed here over the summer, and we would, meet up, we'd go swimming. Sometimes I'd spend the night here. I'd go to like some summer parties with them, and that was really fun because it was like a good mix of when I was home, I got to see my friends from high school, like all the ones that I missed during college, and we would like go and do our regular thing. We would have sleepovers, we would drive around, get food together, and then when I was working, that was kind of like my campus time, my college time, and so I'd go and see my college friends. And yeah, last summer it was like a really good balance. I really enjoyed it. And then I'm switching it up a little bit this summer just because I do want to stay a little closer to my job so I don't have to commute every day. So I'm staying on campus in like a fraternity house, because over the summer they do what's called like summer live-in, because a lot of the guys who live here end up going home, so they have like a bunch of extra space, so they open it up for girls to apply to live in. So I'm staying here with a bunch of girls from my sorority, and I have one roommate right now, and we get like an awesome room. It's super close to my job, and I get to stay on campus, which is great. The next question is, what is my strength? And something that I really pride myself in is like my ability to be social. I feel like naturally I'm a very introverted person, which surprises a lot of people because I do enjoy people's company and I like meeting new people. I think I also just really like my alone time, and my social battery runs out very fast, but I'm like always able to rally, and so I like really pride myself on my ability to like talk to people, be friendly, and like meet new people, because I think above all I really value like learning from other people's experiences and hearing people's stories, and just kind of like gaining new perspective by like through other people's experiences. So I'd say like that's something I've worked on a lot, is just like my ability to be social, be like socially aware and very, like welcoming and friendly, just because like I want to be able to cultivate those relationships and those friendships. So yeah, I really pride myself on just like my ability to like show up, to talk to people. Yeah, again, just being friendly and outgoing. I feel like that's definitely a big one. And kind of playing off of that, Yasu also asked what is one of my weaknesses. And this is definitely something I'm trying to work on, is I feel like sometimes I can be a little bit controlling. I'm very much like, I feel like what people would call like type A. So I'm very organized. Like I like to have a plan. I enjoy like a neat and tidy space, that kind of stuff. And so sometimes when it's like, oh, we like deviate from the plan, or like people are just kind of all over the place, like I very much like to take control of the situation and be like, okay, here's what we're gonna do, this is where we're gonna go. And sometimes that can definitely like clash with other people, so I'm trying to kind of be more aware of when I act like that, and when I like kind of get stressed out in those situations, because at the end of the day it is not that serious. So definitely I'm trying to work on like my flexibility, and just how, and like just going with the flow, you know. I think that's like a really good skill to have, and it's not one that I've quite perfected, so hopefully we get there. Okay, and then the next question is, what did I have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? It's like 1 p.m. here right now, so I haven't had dinner yet. But for breakfast, I had banana bread that my mom gave me, and it was so good. I heated it up and like had it with some chai tea this morning, while my roommate and I just kind of chatted, and it was such like a calm and perfect way to start the morning. Like we just listened to some music. I love slow mornings, just like when we're able to like get ready together and like talk and have a good breakfast. So that was definitely today. Like it was a slow Monday morning. So yeah, I had banana bread, and I love the way my mom makes it. She puts like walnuts in it, so it has some like texture, and we use like old bananas, so it has a lot of flavor, which is really good. And then for lunch today, I had a burrito, but it was like this tofu scramble, so it had like onions, tomato, curry powder, that kind of stuff in it, and then you like scramble it all up. And then I did that with black beans, avocado, a little bit of provolone, cheese, and then some salsa, and I put that all in like a tortilla. Oh, and cucumber, just like for some like freshness and crunch. Put that all in a tortilla, rolled it up, and then toasted it, and that was really good. It's gonna be like 75 degrees today, so I wanted something a little bit lighter, and a little bit fresher, so that was perfect. And then I think for dinner today, I went grocery shopping yesterday, so I have a lot of like food right now. I might make like, I really like this this meal that I make. It's like rice and then smoked mackerel and as like a soy marinated boiled egg on top, which is really good, with like some green onions, sesame seeds, that kind of stuff. And then I might have that with like a salad on the side or something. I don't know, I have a lot of like free time today, so I guess I'm just gonna and I like really enjoy cooking, so I might make something a little more complicated than that if I'm feeling up to it, but we'll see. I'll just see what I feel like tonight, I guess. And then the next question is, what food am I good at cooking? Honestly, I like cooking a lot of different things. I'm trying to like build up my repertoire of what meals I make, because right now I'm kind of like all over the place with the meals I make. I've been like experimenting a lot. I would say I'm really good at cooking like Asian cuisines. I'm like decent at Indian food, and then I really like East Asian food too. I make this really good like soba noodle dish with bok choy that I might make at some point this week. I'm excited, but yeah, I'm trying to get like a little more experimental. At home, I would make focaccia a lot, like the bread, and then make these really good sandwiches with like goat cheese, roasted peppers, arugula, that kind of stuff. But yeah, my goal for this fall at least is to get better at soups, which is kind of random, but I feel like I'm really good at cooking like warm weather foods, like with like fresh ingredients, and like cold pastas and salads and sandwiches and that kind of stuff. So I want to get a little bit better at cooking cold weather foods too, like warm soups and that kind of stuff. Because my mom growing up, she would make really good like root vegetables and that kind of stuff into her soups, and so I need to learn from her. And then Yasu also asked if I have any special abilities. I don't know like what you would consider like a special ability, but I feel like some of my talents are, I know how to play the trumpet. I grew up actually playing that and piano. Less so piano. I quit that at an early age. Unfortunately, my parents were very disappointed. But I stuck with trumpet for a while. I still enjoy playing it. It's like a very loud instrument, so I can't practice it that much when I'm like living in a shared space like the sorority. But it's definitely something I still like. I love jazz music and stuff like that, which I think is why I really wanted to do the trumpet. I'm also actually really good at origami. I like randomly in my first grade class, we had an entire unit on origami. So once a week we had a teacher who would like come in and teach us different forms. So I don't know, I'm always like folding paper cranes at work and stuff, just because it was something that I did so much in my childhood that I'm like, it's just like something to do when I'm bored. I'd also say like I'm very crafty. I feel like I pick up different art forms very fast. I was into watercolor for a while. I've done sewing. I did charcoal art for a little bit. I recently I got into beading. I started with like beading clothing, so just like adding little designs and like embroidery to that kind of stuff. And then I started doing sculptures. I have it kind of looks rough right now because I just moved all my stuff and it got a little beat up. But I just did this like beaded flower art thing. So these are all like beads and wires, and then when it catches the sun, it's so pretty because they're made of check glass beads, so they're like completely translucent, which I thought is pretty cool. So yeah, that one is like a recent hobby, but who knows what I'll get into next. I feel like I guess like a skill or like a special talent would be just like being able to pick up the like artsy craftsy stuff very quickly and like having a knack for that. What do I want to do when I'm older? So next year I am going to graduate college, and I'm really excited for that. I think I'm going to take a gap year or two and either work or travel depending on like what's accessible and what feels right to me. But I eventually do want to go to law school. I want to be an immigration lawyer as I get more experience in the field, if that still speaks to me, then I want to do that. I just feel like it's like growing up, it's always been a very like pressing issue for me, and so it's been like very prevalent in my life, and it's like something that I'm very passionate in, and I feel like I could make a difference doing. I really enjoy law as a practice just because I feel like it's very logical, very challenging for me. So it's something like those like analytical skills, those speaking skills, like and writing and stuff like that. It's something that I've worked for a lot, and I think that would be like very fulfilling as a career. Outside of like work though, I think, again, I really do want to travel. I grew up not really traveling that much. Like the farthest I've been out of the country once, I went to Mexico City, and that was amazing. It was beautiful. Highly recommend if you're ever able to go. But I don't know. I want to experience more of the world. I'd love to go to like India, Japan someday. Love to explore Europe. And like a lot more of South America, definitely, just because I am learning Spanish in school. That's one of my majors. So I think that would be really fun. But yeah. And then Yasu also asked if I have any bad habits. I definitely have quite a few. I'm sure my roommates could point to some of them, having lived with me for so long. One thing that's like a personal issue though, I feel like, is I'm very bad at overbooking myself. Like I said, I love to be social, but I also am introverted. And so I get caught up in like the excitement of wanting to hang out with my friends, of like wanting to go places and do things. And then I realize that sometimes I just need to I need some reset time, and I need to like take a step back. So if I'm like for multiple days like booking myself to like go to an event and then hang out with a friend and then get dinner with someone, like just constant go, I get very burnt out very fast, and then it's just like it's not enjoyable, and I'm not giving like enough energy to the people around me, and it's just like it's not fair to anyone, because it's like it's not productive like or quality time. So I definitely have to be better at that, not just like seeing if it'll fit into my schedule, but if it'll fit into like my mental capacity, if that makes sense. So I need to like start booking like me time as if it's an actual event, not just like a secondary priority. So yeah, I think I'll get better at that, especially I think right now it's a little hard just because I'm living in such a social environment, like with going to college and having, like working with a bunch of other like people my age, and then like living in a sorority, that kind of stuff. It's just you're constantly around your friends. So it's easy to like want to maintain that social life, but I also realize I won't be able to maintain that if I'm always burnt out and if I'm always like socially tired. So I think I will work on that definitely as I finish up college. The next question is, when was the last time I felt moved, like emotionally? And it was definitely when the like quarter ended, because spring quarter just ended, summer began, and all my roommates ended up moving out of our sorority, like just to either go home or do their own thing for the summer. And I've lived in the sorority like my entire time in college, and it's been like a very special place. It's just you're living in a house with like all your friends, and you make so many memories there, just like eating dinner together, watching like TV. It's been such a formative part of my college years. And I have like a different house that I'm moving into next year that's a little more off campus, which I am really excited for. I think it has a lot of perks, like I'll be just a lot more independent, and it's like a smaller space, so I'll have more me time. I have my own room, that kind of stuff. So I am excited about it, but it was very bittersweet, like packing up all my things and like walking through the house and knowing that like I'll visit, obviously, but it's just like it won't be the same. Like I'm moving on to a new chapter in my life. And then just beyond that, like all my roommates. So I lived with 5 other girls last year, like we all shared a room, and I love them so much. Like they all came into my life at like different points during freshman year, but they all like, I don't know, we have such unique connections, and some of them are staying in Seattle, so I'll see them, like my current roommate and then one other girl, but a lot of them have like different plans for the summer. They were going home, or like one of my friends, who was like my first college friend ever, she's studying abroad in Ireland and Amsterdam for the entire summer, which like we're all so excited for her. But it was just like, it was so sad, like saying goodbye to everybody on top of like having to say goodbye to like the sorority house and like my room from last year and stuff. It was like we were all sharing in these very sweet memories of us just like growing together as people, and knowing that like even if like the future is gonna be a great and we're so excited for it, it is gonna be like very different. It's not ever going to be the same as it was. So yeah, that was definitely something to think on. But next question that Yasu asked is, what is the most expensive thing you bought recently? I don't know. As like a college student, I feel like I live pretty frugally. My rent is super cheap. I try to spend money on groceries rather than going out to eat, that kind of stuff. Recently, though, I did buy a hair oil. It was like $60, I believe, which, I don't know, pretty expensive for me for like a, like a hair product, because I usually just like use my shampoo and call it good. But because like my hair is getting longer, it's like it was just getting pretty frizzy, especially like with the heat and how much I'm swimming this summer. So I bought this hair oil from Kerastase. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. And I just started using it, like it came in a few days ago. But I'm really excited. Honestly, like my hair does feel a lot softer, and it's like nice just if I like am using heat on it or something, like I'm curling it or straightening it, I can put in the oil first, and it's supposed to act as like a heat protectant. So it's multi-purpose, which is part of the reason I justified buying it. But yeah, I'm really excited to use it. I've never used a hair oil because I usually have pretty short hair. Like all of last year, my hair was like up to here. So it grows really fast, like as you can see. Like that's like 1 year's hair growth. But yeah, I'm excited to use it. And actually my friend recommended it. That's also why I bought it. So yeah. And then building off of the last question, Yasu also asked like, what's something that I really want right now? And actually something I've had my eye on for a while is like a good digital camera. My roommate and actually a few of my roommates and like the girls in the house have really cool like digital cameras that they take pictures with. And I feel like I go on so many like cool trips and experiences and stuff like that. It would just be nice to have that. So I'm definitely saving up for that just because I want to get a good quality one. I think that it's not worth your like time or money to like spend on a cheap one just because the pictures aren't going to turn out great. And then like, you know, I need an SD card. I need like an adapter so I can download the photos to my computer, that kind of stuff. So I'll get one eventually. I have to work a little bit more this summer. But yeah, I'm excited for that. Okay, and then last thing, Yasu also asked, what am I going to do tomorrow? So tomorrow I don't have work because my job is closed Monday, Tuesday, so I have like the entire day free. My roommate's brother came into town, so she's from Boston, so he flew in from Boston to Seattle and he's staying in the house for a few days. So I'm excited to like kind of spend time with them and go around the city. I think we are going to go to the Montlake Cut tomorrow, which is like this shipping canal right by campus that's super fun to swim in. Boats will like go through and like, you know, like you can yell at them and wave and whatever. Just because it's going to be super hot tomorrow, and I'll see if I can like rally some of my friends from high school to meet us there, and then maybe some like guys in the house, and we can all go down. And yeah, hopefully there's a lot of people there. During the school year, it gets crazy busy. Like, it's honestly hard to find a place to sit, which is kind of fun because you get to like meet a bunch of people and see all your friends. But over the summer, since people go home, like there are very few people that take summer classes, then it can get like a little empty. But I guess we'll see when we go tomorrow. Besides that, we might like stay and have a movie night or go out to eat. We honestly have to see like how everybody feels after going to the cut. But it'll be such a nice day. I'm sure everybody will be up for an adventure. I kind of love the like lazy days where you're like, oh, let's like see where this takes me. Like I obviously like I have my own plans, but again, I'm trying to be better about just like going with what people want and going with the flow. So I don't know. I have like ideas for things that we could do, like restaurants we could go to and stuff like that. But if nobody's up to go, then we don't have to. We could also just swim all day. I also have some questions from Yasu that I'm excited to answer today. So the first one is, what did I do yesterday? And yesterday was kind of a weird day, I'm not gonna lie. So I woke up super early and I was doing, what was I even doing? Oh yeah, I was just like reading my book. I'm reading Game of Thrones right now, which is really good. And so I was reading for a little bit, and then one of my friends in the house, he wanted to make us breakfast in bed, me and my roommate, and I totally forgot he told us we were going to do that, and I woke up at like 7 a.m., so obviously he did not have it ready, so I went back to bed, just so like he could surprise us with that, which was really sweet of him. He made us like eggs and breakfast quesadillas. And so yeah, we were just like eating in our room, and then I was reading more of my book, and like I just randomly fell asleep. I don't know how that happened because I am terrible at taking naps, but it was probably like 10 a.m. at that point, and then like I fell asleep and didn't wake up till noon, which if you ask my roommate, I am a chronic like I get up early all the time. Like no matter how late I stay up, I will be up by 7 or 8 a.m. It's just like my body will wake me up. So that was super weird for me. I did not enjoy it. Like waking up at noon, I felt like I'd wasted my whole day. Um, so I was just like, I was so out of it. I was all like groggy, and I'm like, oh, I have to get ready for work. But yeah, I mostly like I cleaned our room. So because one of my friends is visiting from her hometown and she's staying in our room for the week, like on one of our couches. So I like cleaned our room in preparation for that after I woke up. And then I got ready for work and I walked down there. I was just like picking up a shift for one of my coworkers because I usually don't work on Mondays, which was yesterday. But she was out of town and needed someone to cover, so I went in for a little bit. It was super busy, which kind of sucked because I was like, I didn't even want to be there. I wasn't planning on working. But it's fine. I like my job. I like my coworkers, so there are worse things to do. And then when I came back, we were doing like this housewide game night. So we went out to our campus's like soccer field, and we were playing spike ball and flag football and soccer, which was really fun. I miss playing soccer because I grew up doing it, but I don't know. I think I was just like really tired from work, so my heart wasn't super in it. And like my roommate, or not my roommate, my friend had driven up like that day from her hometown, so she was super tired, so she didn't want to stay that long. So we ended up heading back a little early. Um, and yeah, and just because like I was so tired, I decided to go for like a night swim. We have like a small like above ground pool in the backyard of the house, and it was really hot yesterday, so I went for a little swim there, and that was really nice. But yeah, and then when everybody came back, they joined me, which was fun, and then they stayed up playing like games, and I went to bed around like 1, I want to say, so honestly not that bad. But yeah, for waking up at noon, I will say like I don't feel like I wasted the day. Like I still did a lot, but I don't know, it was weird. I'm not used to sleeping in that late. And then you also asked if there's anything interesting happening lately. It's a pretty broad question. I feel like there's a lot going on. One big thing that my roommate and I have been super excited to do is we planned this housewide game. So basically we like form teams among different people who live in the house. So it's like 3 rooms will be one team, and they're all competing to get as many points as possible. So like at midnight every night we're hiding little task cards that have like things that you can do that are worth a certain amount of points, and then once you do them you send like proof of completion to this Instagram account we made, and then we like tally it up and do it. And everybody in the house has gotten super into it, which is really fun. We were nervous that people would like not really participate, but they've been super competitive about it, and like we've had some crazy challenges that people have just like done no question. Some of them like are like pretty like delinquent activities, but they've been really fun. And yeah, that's just been like really cool to organize and like fun. We were like, the hope was that we would like bring people together in the house, because like we're living with so many people, not everybody knows each other, and it's easy to stick to your friend groups. So we tried to like group people up that like didn't know each other, and then a lot of the tasks have like you have to collaborate with people you don't know that well, that kind of stuff. So like it's a really big bonding thing, and it's just been like super fun and like kind of insane. Um, so yeah, I've really liked doing that. Um, Interesting in like life recently. I don't know if this is interesting, but there was this like piece of legislature passed recently by the Trump administration that I've been keeping up with. He like calls it like the big beautiful bill. It's basically like rewriting our like spending and tax budget for the US, and it has like I've been listening to like 3 hour long podcasts on it. Like genuinely, it's so complicated and it's hard to like explain in one. But I've been really focused on like the impacts it'll have on like medical care for people in the U.S. just because it cuts a lot of the Medicaid and Medicare funding for people. I've been having a lot of discussions like with the people around me. Yasu also asked about my birthday. So like if I have a party every year, what do I do for it? That kind of stuff. And it's definitely changed a lot. Like as I've gotten older, when I was younger, I used to do small parties. Like my friends would come over to my house, or like we went to this glass blowing factory, which was super cool. I took 5 of my friends and we all like learned to blow glass and like make instruments. I think that was like one of my favorite birthdays ever. Wait, no, I changed my mind. My favorite birthday ever, I'm just remembering, is I was actually, so my family was backpacking in Utah. So my birthday, it's in spring, and it usually fell on my spring break for like middle school, high school, that kind of stuff. And so spring break, and we went down to Utah to go backpacking. And at first I was like a little upset because I'm like, I'm not going to be with my friends over my birthday. I'm going to be like in the middle of the desert. Like, guys, this is so unfair. Like, I was a brat about it. But I just remember, like, we are an ultralight family, which means like my like family takes backpacking very seriously. It's like whatever weight we can cut, we only bring the necessities, that kind of stuff. And my birthday fell on the last day of this backpacking trip, and I remember like waking up in my tent, and my sister, my dad, and my mom, they brought me like a Pop-Tart, and they'd like put, I think like it was my 11th birthday, and put like 11 candles on it and lit it. And like all I could think of was like, oh my God, they carried 11 candles for this like 6-day backpacking trip. Like, I thought that was so funny because like I knew, especially my dad, he's like, if you don't need to bring it, like don't, you know? So I was like, oh, that's such a sweet gesture. And it wasn't like a big celebration or anything, but I think it's still one of my favorite birthdays to this date. So yeah, that was super fun. In college, now that like I'm away from my house, my birthdays center a lot more around my friends. I don't really like planning things for my birthday because it feels so like self-centered. I'm like, I don't want to make a big deal out of it. Like, I just want to spend time with my friends. Like, we can just treat it like another day. But my friends always throw me like some kind of surprise party. Like, they'll get me a cake, flowers, and like I never know when it's coming. Last year they did it like a few days before my birthday, and I walked in and I was actually like, there's a video of me just being like what's happening? Because I had no idea that they were planning it. And then last year, or like this year, we had like a little smaller thing, and they got me cake, and we did like this tarot card reading because it was my 20th birthday. And so they're like, you're entering a new decade, like let's look like what you have like coming for you, like that kind of stuff. So yeah, I always feel very lucky that I have people in my life who want to celebrate me and like want to appreciate me, because I very rarely have like a bad birthday, which I'm lucky for. Yasu also asked what I've been up to, which I feel like I've gone a little bit into detail. My like day-to-day life is very like chill, very summer. I've appreciated it. I work like 3 or 4 days a week, and when I work, I have like 12-hour shifts, or unless I'm picking up someone's shifts, like I have 12-hour shifts, because I prefer to work fewer days but still get like my full-time hours, if that makes sense, than like having to come in multiple days. So they're definitely very long days when I work, but then like that means that the other days that I'm not working, I have them completely free, which I appreciate. So on those free days, I will be like baking or cooking. I baked bread the other day, which was really good, and I like shared that with the house. I'll be, I'll like I'll go swimming like with like the people in the house, or do something like that. I've also been reading a lot more now that I have some more free time, now that I'm not in school, which has been really good. My roommate and I have this giant stack of books in the corner of our room that we're like, we have to get through this by the end of the summer, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's a good goal to have. And it kind of keeps us more, accountable. But yeah, and then, I've also been trying to apply to 1 internship per week. That's been my summer goal. So I really want to get like some kind of law internship, just because I want more experience in the field before I actually go to law school. And it's so competitive, especially as an undergrad. Like, unless you know someone who can get you some kind of internship, it's like most internships are targeted towards actual law students rather than undergrads. which is pretty frustrating, or they're unpaid, which I've applied to a few unpaid internships, but like genuinely, like I'm like, I need to afford rent, I need to afford tuition, like it's just like not super realistic to do that. The next question that Yasu had for me was what is my older sister like? And okay, when we were growing up, so we are very different people, and when we were growing up, that was like such an issue because we shared a room, and she was so messy, I was so organized. She like was kind of insane during high school, and I was like this little like teacher's pet middle schooler, that kind of thing. So we fought a lot growing up, and then over the pandemic, she moved back from college and was staying in our basement. So her and I technically had different rooms, and I think like that was just the thing to cure our relationship. Just like, and we like started getting along so well. I genuinely think she's like one of the most funny and creative people in my life. Again, we FaceTime like almost every day, like just for life updates. She rarely visits just because like she has so much going on in California. Like she's looking for a job right now. Actually, she did just get a job offer, which we're all really excited to hear. She just graduated from her master's program. She might be moving in with her boyfriend soon. I don't really know. She's still like up in the air about that. But yeah, genuinely, like we're very different people, so we have like very different ways of looking at life, but like funnily enough, the same humor, which is always like super sweet. I don't know. She's visiting in August for her friend's wedding, and I'm really excited. She's gonna like stay with me for a little bit, stay with my parents for a little bit. And we're already like planning activities that we're gonna do together. Like we love going thrifting together, going hiking. We're like both into like very into arts and crafts. She was like, when she saw my room, she was like, oh my god, we gotta like paint in here, we gotta like do like beading in here or something like that. I feel like we pick up a lot of like the same hobbies, and so yeah, we really just like feed off of each other, I think, in very positive ways. And because we grew up like in the same way, I think we share a lot of the same values, which is just, it's like so nice. Like I just feel so lucky to have a sibling at all, because I love like being able to like have someone that I share my entire life with. Like they've seen me when I was like little, and they know like how I got to where I am, like why I think the way I think, that kind of stuff. So yeah. Okay, Yasu also, his next question is, what do I do when I'm with my friends? And honestly, all my friends are such yappers. Like I think that we just like we gravitate towards each other because we can just like talk about whatever. Sometimes it's literally just what we're into lately, like catching up, sharing. My friend Lola sends me TikToks all the time, and we just like talk about those, and they're like the stupidest TikToks ever, but like I don't know, they're cute. And like I don't know, I feel like a lot of my friends now I just met in college. So again, we like don't have that background of knowing each other our whole lives. So it's always fun to talk about like our shared values, like life philosophies, like how we grew up differently, and like how we got to like where we are. So yeah, I don't know, that's super fun. We also, like now that it's warm out, we're going on like a lot of picnics, like just being super whimsical with each other, which I genuinely think our shared life philosophy is like always be whimsical, especially when it's nice out. So yeah, we'll like go swimming, have picnics. We go thrifting a lot. I feel like the nice thing about living in the city is like you never run out of things to do. So like we'll see something that like, or like get a recommendation on places to go, and we'll like do that. We eat together a lot too, like just like cooking together, or when we were living in the sorority especially, like sharing meals together was super fun. So yeah, kind of all over the place. Like it changes with our moods, like where we're at in life, that kind of stuff. The next question Yasu has for me is, what kind of foods do I like? I have such a sweet tooth, I'm not gonna lie, which is kind of bad. I I grew up loving to bake, so, you know, like cakes, banana breads. I have this really good recipe for this olive oil cake that I want to make. It's like olive oil, dark chocolate, rosemary, and it has like spelt flour in it. I love being like experimental kind of, which my friend Emily is really good at that. She is like so experimental with the things that she makes. She like made us this cookie recently that was like miso, sesame. I don't even know. It had like 5 million ingredients in it, but it was really good. Um, I love fruit, like, which is kind of like not like a real, it's not like a dish or anything, but I don't know, like if it wasn't so expensive, I would just eat fruit all the time, like mangoes, peaches. It's peach season here, which like thank God, that's like my favorite fruit ever. I've been like buying like crates of peaches and just going through them, um, which is really nice. And yeah, I don't know. It's like all over the place. I think I'm just someone that really enjoys food. So I'm so glad I'm not like a picky eater, especially like I'll try everything, and I feel like I've tried a lot of food. Um, so I don't know. I'm really grateful for that. Like my parents, like even if I hated something when I was growing up, my parents forced me to eat it. Like that was just their mentality, and I think that it like made me have like a very diverse palate and be able to enjoy a lot of foods. Like I like spicy food. I like sweet foods, sour foods, even bitter foods sometimes. My mom, okay, I have this like traumatic memory of my mom loves endives and chicories, which is like a type of leafy green, and they are like so bitter to the point where like I hated them growing up, but she would always make them and just like force me to eat them. And you know what? Now I like them. So I guess it worked. I guess it worked. But that yeah, I feel like that kind of mentality of like finish what's on your plate made me very like appreciative of food and made me very like experimental with the stuff that I tried. Yasu's next question was, what is one thing I want to do in my life? And this is actually something I tried to do before I went to college, but then it ended up not working out, was hiking the Washington section of the PCT. So it's this like 500-mile trail that goes from Oregon to Canada, so all throughout Washington. It's honestly a lot longer. So the whole PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail, is from from Mexico to Canada, so it goes through California, Oregon, and Washington. I think it's like 2,000 miles total. Like super hardcore backpackers will do it. And what you do is like you ship your supplies to different like resupply points along the trail, and like you plan out your entire thing. It takes like months to do. But you get like super into it, and it's like it I've been on sections in both like Oregon and California, and it looks absolutely gorgeous. Um, and everyone I've talked to who's done it or done a portion of it, like has had such a perspective shift in like what they value in life and like the experiences that they want to do. So I feel like I would want to do it, not just to like say I did it, but like to get those genuine like life changes. The summer between high school and college, my mom and I were going to do the Washington section, which again is like that 500-mile section. I quit my job. We set aside like a month for it, and then like a week in, my mom injured her knee and she couldn't keep going, which was super unfortunate because we had planned all of our food. Like it took genuinely like 2 weeks of prep. Like I packed so many of those like dehydrated meals, and like we had shipped them out to different resupply points. My dad like drove us down to the Oregon border, and then we started hiking. We got almost like 90 miles in before she got injured, but like again, like she's getting older, and it was just like it was not worth it to us for like to cause any lasting damage in order to complete it. But she's always wanted to try it again, and I've always wanted to try it again. So that's definitely like a goal that I have, that I need to set aside time for, and I need to like prepare for. But I definitely think it's doable. And the small section that we did do was like absolutely breathtaking. Like I have some amazing memories there. Almost every morning we would have like oatmeal, like instant oatmeal for breakfast. What we would do is like we would wake up, pack up our stuff, hike like 3 miles, and then have breakfast. And how we decided where we had breakfast was where we found like a wild blueberry patch. So then I would pick blueberries to like put on top of our oatmeal. And like after days of like not having fresh fruit, like those blueberries, best thing ever. They tasted so good. You know, you would hike an entire day without seeing anybody. You would be like eating food at these amazing viewpoints. Like you'd be like swimming in lakes and rivers every single day. And I genuinely just like felt so like connected to who I was, and it's still something I really want to do because I feel like a week was not enough time for me to fully appreciate like what that means and what that kind of lifestyle means. So that's definitely a goal I have in life. The next question is what's my favorite animal? And I think this is so basic to say, but I really like cats. Like genuinely just house cats. I feel like I don't know, like I want to say like something a little cooler than that, but I think because like I interact with cats so often, it's like I don't know, I love them. I think the first time I ever cried in college was I realized I hadn't seen a cat for like 3 months, which is so stupid. But it was like it was also homesickness because like at home, just there are a lot of street cats wandering around because it's a lot more of a it's like a less urban environment. But like where I live on campus was it's like right on a busy avenue. Like there's a lot of like tall buildings, so people don't just let their cats roam around. So I think it was more the thought of like, oh my god, I haven't been home and like seen a cat in a while than actually been like, oh, I haven't pet a cat. But I don't know. I like cats. I think like one of my goals has always been to own a cat when I'm older, like when I have my own apartment and like a stable income and all that. Just because I think that they're such a good companion. They're a lot less maintenance than dogs, and I feel like I've always understood them a lot more. Okay, people don't like cats because they're not friendly and they don't love you immediately, but I just take that as a challenge. Like you gotta earn their respect, you know? So yeah, that's part of the reason I love cats. And yeah, calico cats specifically. I love calico cats because they're all female and girl power. Okay, and then Yasu's next question is what made me laugh recently. My friend Edgar genuinely is like the funniest person I've ever met. I went to Canada with him recently, and he lives in the house that I'm in. And like we were not super close last year. Like we knew each other, but we weren't super close friends. And so getting closer to him, especially this summer, like I have realized he's one of the funniest people I know. Like me and my roommate, we love him. He's just like he's so like cat. He doesn't even know like what he's saying is funny, and then we just like die laughing. Um, Recently, like we were filming it like some kind of video with him, and we were like, "Yo, Edgar, introduce yourself." And he's like, "What's up, guys? It's Baby Easy 206." And we were like, "Where did that come from?" Because he's such like a nonchalant, chill guy, and this is some like random like rapper type name, and we're like, "Who are you, Edgar?" And he was so casual. He's like, "Guys, I'm Baby Easy 206. Like, what do you mean?" And apparently it was like his Snapchat username in like middle school. They just pulled it out of nowhere. Um, and it's genuinely just like little things like that that make us love him so much. His aura is insane. Like he's just this guy, but like recently my roommate was with him and they were walking down the street and he is on the like fraternity council. It's called IFC. And this guy just comes up to out of nowhere like, "Yo, Mr. IFC, like what's up?" And he just like he gets recognized on the streets, guys, I swear, because he is such like a charismatic and funny guy. And he's so like down to earth. I don't know. He just, yeah, he definitely is like one of the people that makes me laugh. And then he also asked if I could take one thing with me to a deserted island, what would I bring? Um, and like if you're putting survival aside, I feel like my first instinct is like survival things. But if you're putting that aside, genuinely, I think I would bring books. Um, I'm like I feel like they keep me entertained for a while, and like unlike your phone or like a Kindle or something, it won't die, so you can like always read and reread them. And I really don't mind rereading books, like genuinely, because I feel like you discover something new about them each time. Um, and like I like rereading books and knowing what's gonna happen, like because then you get like more of the foreshadowing and stuff on the second read through. So I could keep myself entertained for months on a deserted island if I had like books with me. Um, and that's like my biggest thing. Like assuming that I can survive, I'm like I cannot be bored. That would suck. So yeah, definitely books. I think that's like again kind of a basic answer, but it's a good one. It's a good one. So yeah, when I was little, like I read so much more than I do now. Like I wear contacts now and I genuinely like think that my vision is bad because I would stay up so late reading when I was little. So yeah, that's my bad. And then the last question that Yasu had for me was, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Tomorrow, my friend Noah is picking me up, and we're going to go thrifting, which I'm super excited about. We're going to the Goodwill Bins, which is like this giant outlet where all the like all the clothes that don't get sold at Goodwill go, and then it's like priced per pound, which is super fun. So it's definitely a lot of work to like dig through everything, but you always find the best stuff, and it's like super cheap. So as long as you have the patience for it and the time, then that's my favorite way of thrifting. So we're gonna go do that, and then like I said, my friend is staying with us for the week. So we're gonna go shopping for groceries, and we're gonna do like a little sushi night, which I'm super excited about. Like in the frat house, we'll see how that works. But yeah, we've done a few sushi nights before, like where we make sushi, and it's always so fun because it's such a communal thing. Like everybody can build their own roll, and like you kind of figure out how to how to actually roll it, which is such like an art. But yeah, I'm excited for that. We're gonna do that, and then we have a house-wide event that night, which is called like Around the World. So each room like hosts a different event, and it's like themed to the to different countries. So our room is doing like Cuba, and we have like food and drinks. It's like associated with the country, that kind of stuff, which is super fun. So because our week socially is super busy at the house right now because it's like a big like rush week. So they're planning a lot of different events. Like on like the end of the week, we're going to Golden Gardens, which is a beach here in Seattle, and we're doing like a bonfire afterwards. And then the day after, we're going like on a big hike all together, and we're gonna go like to Eagle Falls, where there's like a lot of different like swim holes and stuff like that. And then yesterday we like did the game night, that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty busy week just because they like want a lot of social events for everybody to meet like the potential like new members of the house, and like so they can kind of get a feel for like what the house is like and what kind of activities they do. So yeah, there's definitely a lot going on, but I'm really excited for that, and I think it's gonna be fun.
実践的な英会話を短期間で効率よく身につけたい方は、いろんなアメリカ人の生の英会話を学ぶのが一番です。英会話教材 This is 英会話では、アメリカ人約150人の生の英会話を紹介しています。概要欄に紹介していますので、ぜひ見てください。それでは次回をお楽しみに。